Just need to position this text here. Just getting the chat fit in there. Making nothing on YouTube. Is it working on YouTube now? Should be going live now. So I'm doing it to YouTube and Twitch. And I think I'm probably doing it restream as well. Very good. So it's working. It's working. Just checking everything. Sorry guys, I'm just getting this all sorted. You know, having the little number of viewers up there and this little chat thing. It's just I'm using a software called Streamlabs and getting it working with my editing software. You know, it's just getting all these little things tweaked. And the best way is to do it was when I'm doing a live stream. But I'm getting this Twitch. I'll tell you what, I'm going to kill the third stream. I'll stop stream 3, and we'll see if that kills me, because that may be a little too much for my machine. Okay, one more thing I've got to set up, then we'll have a look at some data. And yes, I have my stein of coffee here, guys. It's only 10 p.m. Who doesn't drink at 10 p.m.? Come on. Because I'm thinking I'd like to do just a little, maybe a rundown of some of the economic data every day. You know, here we go. Australia's stuffed. Sunrise is saying, "Oh, it's not stuffed. It'll be okay. You know, in the end, it'll always work out. Just go the all stoic mindset. You know, you'll be all good. It'll all be good. Could always be worse. Could be much worse. You know." Hey Jared, yeah, I'm having a good night. About to go to bed. Ben's going, "It's a bit late, Dad." Yeah, well, you know, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Architecture. So, I'm just noticing this text is going all the way up there, up over the things. And I need to figure out how to stop that. But I'll worry about that later. I'll worry about that later. And let's see if I can change it as boxed. And it will save those settings. Ooh, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. And background color. Oh well, at least I got the text appearing for now. Okay, well I think that's for now. What do you guys like seeing the chats appear on the screen like this when you have a chat stream? And then when I'm pulling something out, I'll bring it up here. Like Sunrise is happy that houses are still rising. So I'm just trying to, to get it sorted and to bring it all together. I think I can't handle the 3 streams. So I'm not, is it stuttering? Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? It is a little bit. So we got 2 on Twitch and 18 on YouTube. And will that just keep going at the top? Okay. What I will do is just bear with me, guys. I'm just getting this sorted. There we go. Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost like I know what I'm doing. Oh. I tell you, you learn a lot by how to stream all this stuff. It really is, it's interesting getting it all working. See, now we can see how many people are watching on Twitch, how many people are watching on YouTube. And I might, you know, might move that over a bit. What do you reckon? I'll position that. Yeah, I don't like these names going over here. Oh well. Okay. So guys, what I thought we'd have a look at in a bit of a chat today is, I'd say we got 36 on YouTube and only 18 here. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'll sort that out later. I thought we'd just finish off the night before we go to bed, having a look at some of the economic data that has come out tonight. Like I said, I wanted to look at some of it and just to allow everyone to have a bit of a chat. I was wondering if, can I do a background color here? You know. So we'll see how it goes. I'll reload that page. There we go. Okay, good. Sean is asking me how I went with Atlas. Yeah, it's on my list. I'll be honest with you. We had a big project that came in over Christmas, a school extension, literally on Christmas Eve, and they needed it done for a client so they could win a job, and we just did that. So I had literally no time off over the holidays. I was working 70-hour weeks. It was just insane. So I've done no reading at all. So sorry, mate. I'm not keeping up with it. You know, it's on the list. It's on the list right now. I'm reading a few things just about share analysis, but I should get into it more. I won't forget. Don't worry. Keep hassling me about it every couple of months, mate. Keep hassling me about it. Ben's asking when they're going to tell us we're up shit creek. Usually 2 quarters, 6 months. You know? 6 months before they know for real. So I'm just gonna... Sorry guys. You're part of my experiment here while I try and get this all looking interesting. Maybe I should do it like that. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm gonna stop screwing around with this thing. Yeah, I know I'm being slack, mate. I know I'm being slack. I got a house to repair too. I've got a window of half disassembled that I've got to put on a wall. So I've got to cut a hole in the wall, then I've got to put the window in, and then I've got to clad the wall, then I've got a fence to build. Got to remove some gutters. I just replaced a window pane and a door that broke because of a daughter, and it took months for them to tell me the glass had arrived. So, you know, I'm allowed to be a bit slack. I'm allowed to be a bit slack. So I'm just checking everything here. That blue text is just a bit hard to read, isn't it? I'm just gonna do one more thing. Okay, you know what? We're just going to put up with that for now, guys. Consider that part of my experiment. Sorry, I'm screwing around with all this stuff. You're here helping me get the stream sorted. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm screwing around a little bit. These things are pretty hard to get up and running. It really, it's part of being guinea pigs here, helping it all get sorted. How's the sound? Is that all good? Let me know if there's any issues. If I get stuttering, I'll try and figure out what that is. I'm trying to get it all sorted. So, Sean is telling me he's in the same game. Yeah, yep. Cold War Warriors thinks we're going to have helicopter money. Well, looking at the ASX stuff, guys, there's a 100% chance of a rate cut. What do you reckon? Can you bet on this? Someone's told me they bet on it in the comments. We've got a 100% chance of a rate cut. So that's going to be interesting. Oh, the text is coming off. Well, I'll get that sorted later. There's all people that know what they're doing with this stuff. So yeah. So guys, I thought we'd have a look at the data that came out today for Australia. We've got the manufacturing index, the AI group, and the Commonwealth ones. Now the AI group, it's a slightly better than the forecast, ever so slightly, but it's negative or contracting. While the Commonwealth Bank is slightly up, but the one I'm really interested in is my favorite, which is the jobs data, guys. The jobs data. So we've got it here. Let's have a look at some of this. Well, not the jobs data, the jobs advertising data. Because if we have a look at it, we can see the job ads. They've ever so slightly increased. They've improved, tiny, minuscule amount in February. So they've slightly gone up. So is that a good thing? Positive thing? Does it surprise anyone, guys? So the total job ads in Feb were 151,146. That's a tiny 0.7% month-on-month increase. That's seasonally adjusted, of course, everyone's favorite. And then the trend of month-on-month was at 0.4 increase, or negative. But here's the big one, the year-on-year, guys, down 10% and down 12.1%. There you go. That just tells you where it's going, where it's heading 1 year to the next, guys. So, is anyone surprised at that jobs data or the jobs advertisement data? What do you reckon? You think it's gone? I mean, that 10%, that's the real one we need to dwell on. You've got these slight changes and then the variation between what's anticipated and what's actually happening. The market response to that, with the trading and all of that, people play around. But 10% drop, guys, over a year. 12%. And we've got, ScoMo, everyone's in the media, they're talking about the economy recovering, rebounding, as I was looking at today. Blake is going, it might be job ads, but how many are jobs and not agents fishing? Yeah, you're right. I mean, I honestly, I don't know how much of a problem that is. I've only ever done ads directly myself. I couldn't justify the costs that recruiters pay. Maybe other people in the professions can share in the comments if that's a problem. Rolf thinks 25 cut tomorrow. Australia down and gold up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I think that's definitely what's going to happen. Sean's thinking probably lots of ads for people to fix fire damage and stuff, etc. Maybe some contractors. But I mean, if you've got to, I mean, if we look at the number of houses that were actually damaged and we compare that to building approvals, it's not, it's a portion of a month. So it's not that big a thing like some people think. Certain commentators in the news and that type of stuff. So guys, there we go. Just checking. Oh, there's a bit of a delay there in Twitch. Okay, all good. So let's go through this. So the senior economist Catherine Birch commented, job ads rose for a second consecutive month in February, to be almost up 5% over the past 2 months. This has been a surprise to the positive side, a welcome relief from the more negative data from the private sector on construction work done, capital expenditure and business conditions, and confidence. The uptick in job ads and in ABS job vacancies in November could have been a signal for some improvement in the labour market. Well, here's another take on that, and it's probably the cynical bastard in me coming out with that. What if it's because people are, full-time jobs are decreasing while part-time jobs are, and you want to bring more part-timers on to replace those positions? What do you think about that one, guys? Andrew's asking if there's any good news to report. Well, people ask me to find good news. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, Sean's going, we're all alive and well. Could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. Take the stoic approach, So, however, the past 2 months of gains weren't enough to regain levels seen prior to the sharp loss in December, and any underlying momentum may stall in the near term. Other labour market indicators have turned down, and in January, employment growth slowed to its weakest rate in almost 3 years. Demand for labour may pull back as the effects of the COVID-19 on tourism, trade, supply chains, and wider economy become more apparent. Yeah, I think there's going to be there's definitely going to be economic flow onto this, guys. I'm using Mina's doing a subject at school that we are teaching her about a foreign country, and she picked Hong Kong, and I have to discuss trade. So it's fantastic. I've shown her a documentary about a guy who spent 6 months in the merchant marine. He just filmed it and showed all the footage. And now, next I'm going to show her that website where the map's showing where all the ships are going around. That'll be the second day. Then the third day we'll look at the Observatory of Economic Complexity and compare the trade and exports from Australia and Hong Kong. And I'll get her to discuss the complexities of the different economies, guys. What do you reckon? You think that's a good thing for kids to learn? I think that would be. In grade 2. Grade 2, I think definitely. So guys, there we go, we have that. So let's look at the job numbers, original and seasonally adjusted. So this is what was original and seasonally adjusted, up by 4. So what are we now? 157. You've got to think our population's increased since 2010 as well. I'd love to see these figures adjusted for population growth rather than seasonally. That'd be interesting too to compare. Oh well, that won't paint the picture people want to paint, will it? So Frizy 92 is saying, I work in the supply chain field. No crazy news yet for us, but specifically, but they're starting to get very concerned. Yeah. Well, there you go. There definitely are some worries there, I think. Maybe if I reduce that, will that reduce the stuttering? Just try to improve the performance here. MGTOW Maddie, don't scare the children. Well, they need to get scared, don't they? The Crunchinator. Einsteinium, anyone? Are you talking about the cryptocurrency that was a big flop? Einsteinium? But yeah, I mean, guess low rates. They'll try it again, won't they? They will try it again. Harmony's happy we're in a Western country with good rights. We just have to make sure we don't lose them. Actually, I'll turn that on. That might help with the. That's the problem with free speech getting attacked all the time. You know? So, we'll go through this a bit more. Job ads and the unemployment rate. So here are the job ads and the unemployment rate. So they're kind of tracking well, aren't they? On the left-hand side. But now we've got a bit of a divergence. It's funny that. Could be because... Could be we're just, I think, going to more part-time jobs, really. Underutilization. What do you reckon? You think that's a good assumption? Oh, Sean's complimenting me on losing weight. Thanks, mate. Keto, now carnivore, pretty much. Although I, you know... yeah. Well, I had 4 eye fillets and had a T-bone this morning for breakfast. Life's tough. It's really tough on this diet. Yeah, I feel like I'm cheating. Really do. You know? Really do. So let's look at job ads and ABS vacancies. I mean, there you go. Look at the vacancies and the ads. Job ads and employment growth. There we go. And the technical stuff. So there we have it, guys. What worries me the most is this year on year. The trend. What do you think? Grant's letting everyone know about the shortage of shipping containers. Yes. That's going to be a big issue. That's going to be a real big issue. My biggest concern is the necessities we need to get from China. Not all the knickknacks and crap. People can do without that. I mean, think about how much of our retail sector is just selling that knickknacks and rubbish. How much of that is it? So, before I look at something else, I'm just going to look at getting this chat box sorted a bit more. How we all going, guys? Hey, Underland, thanks for joining. Just a bit relaxed today. We just looked at some economic data, and I'm trying to get my text and everything working a little better so you can all see it. Oh no, we can't do that. So bear with me, guys, while I just get this all sorted. Properties here. What's going on? Andrew thinks it'll usher in more authoritarianism here in Australia. Have you heard what's happening in in Adelaide, I just had I'm hearing things that they're going to allow people to get arrested, or intern them. Has anyone heard that? You know? So how bad is it? Sorry, Horizon, what the job data? I'm just trying to get the chat working here. See how it's cutting your text off all the time? I'm trying to stop that. Trying to figure out how to change it. I don't think I can do it here. Crunchy, I'm trying to get the... Oh. I'm trying to get the text that that you see here working. Okay, well, that's enough for now, guys. I need to figure out how to get that sorted. One sec, guys. Sorry. Just chat amongst yourselves, everyone. Won't be a second. Won't be a second. Yeah, Crunchy, I saw that. I haven't had a chance to look at it. What actually is it? Is it an item you're talking about? He sent me a Discord. Good day, Flying Wombat. Welcome. Why is this so bloody complicated to get working, guys? Sorry, it's a bit of a screw around. Because, I mean, this is what I can see here, and it's not updating. You know what? This is when I said I need some help getting it sorted. Chat delay. Yeah, I'm trying to get my my chat working on here, so you're all putting up with me doing that. If anyone knows Streamlabs, I'll get it sorted. I'll get it sorted. Now I'll need to enter some custom HTML and figure that out. But I'll do that later, guys. And no, Ben, I'm not doing my taxes. Not doing my taxes, guys. So what I was thinking of doing would be to do these type of live, just, you know, chatty type of videos, looking at different economic data maybe every day that comes out, and discuss them and just have a bit of back and forth and talking to everyone. But I thought most of those I would just do on the Twitch channel that I have. Now, if those of you that aren't familiar with Twitch, it is a alternative to YouTube, and it's full of Twitch thoughts, you know, and that's how you make your money on Twitch. Ask PewDiePie, someone's saying he's got people that do that for him. He doesn't need to do any of that stuff anymore, you know. Jared's gonna bug out Bush in NT. I think you'd be pretty fine up there, wouldn't you? Be pretty fine. So guys, if you're interested in that, please follow me on Twitch, because I think this is kind of a different type of stuff, to a bit more laid back and relaxed to the other channel, so I don't flood it with too much. Flying Wombat's asking if I read the comment on the last video you did. I don't know, mate. Did I respond to it? Was I being a smug bastard? Is it Flying Wombat as well? Is that your same name? Oh. Well, come on, they are. That's how they make their money. Digital strippers. What's my what is my Twitch channel? That's very good. Should be HeiseSays. Should be HeiseSays. Where is it? How do I find my... So here you go. Twitch TV, HeiseSays. Guys, Twitch TV, HeiseSays. So that's where I'll be doing more of this type of laid back stuff. And, you know, I originally wanted to try and do, you know, game streaming and that type of thing there, but I rarely get time to play games, guys. Underland isn't a fan of Twitch. Why is that? Why don't you like it? You know. It's now when everyone thinks home prices will go up. Well, yeah, I've got a video I'm discussing tomorrow looking at some reports about that. You think the money coming out of the stock market is going to fly into the houses? Could be. Oh, sorry, flying. I'll have a look at it later, mate. I'll have a look at it later. You know. $89,000 confirmed coronavirus cases worldwide. Yep. Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm more worried about the economic concerns, to be honest, of it. Too many trolls on there on Twitch. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I'll find out. You know. That still can't hurt. There we go. It's 6 now. Welcome, Twitch viewers. I'm probably pillaging my YouTubers. You know. Bloody hell! I need to get that text box right. It's pissing me off to no end. Ah, probably just one line of text is all it will take. But I mean, you know, I want to kind of have different type of stuff. Jared thinks the third world is going to burn without aid. I don't know. I think in some way it could be a crutch that it might be good to relieve them of. And some part of the third world are quite well developed. Sydney got the virus and doesn't know how it got... Well, that's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens. Mods are needed on Twitch to keep the trolls away. You wanted to volunteer for that, didn't you, Pub? I don't know how that happens, how that works. You have to tell me, mate. I can't even get my bloody chat coming up right. I'm gonna play around with that. So I mean, we've got the other economic data that's here. We've got the manufacturing data. I mean, that's... Yeah, I mean, it's definitely quite pessimistic. It's definitely trending down. Fell to 44.3 in February. So it means this month it's gotten worse than last month. I don't think anyone is surprised with that at all. Okay, mate. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So, Commonwealth Bank, there's a slightly gone up. So they're surveying a different type of people, you know. Maybe men growing to win. Maybe the virus only affects lefties. Well, I have actually been watching a whole lot of stuff from Dr. Sean Baker discussing the advantages of a high cholesterol diet in providing some resilience to other illnesses. So, could be. Could be. What else do we have? So business inventories. So they've beaten the forecast. It's slightly up. Company gross profit. So here's an interesting one. So fell by 3.5% quarter on quarter in the 3 months to December. The sharpest decline since quarter 2 2017. After a downwardly revised 0.6% decrease in the previous period and matching market expectations. Did it? I thought market expectations were worse. Okay, it matched the consensus. It was worse than trading economics. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. So that's the data that's come out today. Job ads, tiny fraction up. You know, better than the forecast and the consensus. I mean, look at that consensus for job advertisements. What does that tell you the economists think about is going on with the economy there? It's definitely got to be an interesting year, isn't it? Definitely is. Ah, yep. I understand. Isn't it less of an issue with young kids? That's what I've heard. So I'm doing right well in sending Rachel out. But see, Rachel's pregnant. So that's my concern, because we'll have to go to the hospital. You know, oh, I do not want to give her home birth. She nearly we came close once. I don't want to do it. I do not want to do it, guys. No, thank you. Men growing to wind. Don't worry, guys, there's nothing lower interest rates and printing money can't fix. There you go. He's found the solution. You know, we're all going to be good, guys. It'll all be fine. The economy will be saved. Fantastic. I'll try one more thing. Try one more thing to try and get this working. Browser input. Okay. Oh, how many? What is that? 300? 480. One thing I really need is a... Okay. Okay, I think I've figured this out. You know what I really need? A real useful tool for computers, guys, is a screen ruler. How many pixels do you think across my images here? How many pixels across is it? So I need to add input. I'm doing this now. I'm getting this sorted. 600. 10. 720. Bear with me 1 second. I think I figured this out. Okay. Sorry guys. While I got you here, I gotta use you. I gotta use you. Thank you all for putting up with me getting this sorted. You know, you're having a good chat, guys. It's all good. You know, late at night, enjoying our coffee. Enjoying our coffee. The problem, see, the thing is with this bloody, with this setup, I can't... I gotta get, yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, keep chatting. It's working. I'll get there. So yeah, once I get this all up and running, I'll be doing it more often on Twitch, guys. Not the sitting here trying to figure out this bloody software. But getting this working. Getting this working. I'll get there. I'll get there, guys. Got 2 bloody degrees. I should work this shit out. We'll position it. Okay. Okay. Testing, testing. Thank you. Thank you. How the hell do I position this thing? .500 wide, 640. See, this is what I have to set up, guys, all the time. All the time. And what we will Okay. Okay, that's going to do for now. That's going to do for now, everyone. So at least the chat is up there. Thank you all so much for putting up with this, guys. I really appreciate it. Sometimes these type of things just need to get done when I have a stream of people chatting there. And you're all having a nice chat. You're all becoming friends, you know, giving each other stick. So, I mean, that's the economic data that came out today, guys. Any surprises there? What do you all reckon? What do you all think? Do you think it's good having the chat there on the screen? My chat is off-centered. Yes, it is. That's intentional. That's intentional. It's under there. I'm gonna change it later. I've got to measure the pixels on the screen. So I'm doing this on the fly. Because I've got two ways I can have, you know, there's the stream coming up there of chat, which I think is good. And so, Pub, is this one of the Twitch trolls that we're talking about? How do we manage them? So hang on, let's see here. Okay, there we go. So getting there, guys, getting it sorted. Getting it sorted. Ben's getting frustrated at voting. Well, yeah, I think it feels like it, doesn't it? When they're dismissing everyone's concerns about the cash ban simply as conspiracy theories, isn't it? It's a bit annoying. So, oh, actually, I'm gonna try something else. So let's have a look at the commodities. How's our gold doing? Silver's taken a bit of a beating, hasn't it? Gold as well. We'll have to see what happens, guys. Luke does postal voting. We usually go outside of our electorate to somewhere else, so we do, like, we're a foreigner, pretty much. Oh, Ben, go to bed. Oh, crap. It's 10:50. Shit. Guys, thank you so much for helping me get this set up. Damn. I need to go to bed. How long have I been doing this? An hour! Oh, crap. Just a bit of rambling and And half the time is you watching me try and get a bloody box of text appearing properly. There you go. There you go. Shit. Well, you know, could be worse. Could be watching Married at First Sight, or that Iron Chef knockoff that isn't Iron Chef knockoff. You know? Good night, mate. What's your issue with preferences, Flying Wombat? You don't understand how the preferences work, or you didn't like any of the options that you have? Well, yeah, I want to shift the window. Shift the window. That's what I'm thinking, guys. Night, Ben. I don't know how it works. I've actually done a video on that. There's a comic that went around that explains it really well. Really well. I'll bring it out before the next election again. I'll go through it. Frankly, it's one of the best inventions we have. One of the best things for democracy that Australia's invented and given to the world is our voting system. And whereas the UK, it's first past the post. So, you know, if you don't get a certain number, you don't have any chance. So people can literally waste their vote. Where here, you can vote for, you know, a minor you want, then another minor, then another minor. And if your, you know, preference, if he gets or she gets after a certain number, at the very least the majors or the person who gets in knows they needed those preferences to get across the line. But also it means that they can get economic funding. So if you're just voting for one of the majors, you're just giving them free money. It's smarter to give it to the minors. And they never make a profit on this stuff, guys, these parties. They're scraping in. Scraping in. Biber, anti-bullying, yeah. We need to shift the window. That's the argument I would make. I don't care who people vote for, as long as you're voting with an understanding of the policies of the party that you're going for. And shifting it. You know, that'd be my hope, and more people discussing that. So yeah. Oh, backup's working. There we go. Kicking in. Yeah, Underland. Send us the stocks and we'll have a look. But mate, I'm an architect. I'm not I'm not a stock analyst. You know? That's a good idea. We have the Queensland election and New South Wales local council elections. That's good. I should get in touch with some people that are running up here. See who would come on the show. Particularly some of the independents. You know? What they're going to offer to people. Harmony, if you swear in the chat, YouTube stops it and I can't catch it. Frenzy asking me about single issue voting. Well, it depends on the individual. There's certain issues that some people will use to completely abandon parties. I know abortion is a big trigger for some. Gay marriage is a big trigger for others. Some of these parties will flip-flop all over the place on these things. They'll have a party line. So it depends. I mean, there's certain things you won't cross the line for. But there should be a variety of options for you. A lot of people... I actually did a live stream at the last election where we went through every Senate candidate in the country. I think we did a few. It was about 6 hours. It was exhausting. It was exhausting. That's where I first found out actually about the CEC. That's where I found out about the CEC, and I thought they were quite unusual. I never heard of them before. I'd never heard of them before until I went through every single Senate candidate, and they are a lot of them. I mean, that was one thing that was quite good, is that because I'd done that and I went to vote, and I mean, there's one issue which was a lady that was running, and she was, you know, an advocate for saving the kids and all this stuff, and that's what she put forward. You know, handing out the pamphlets, her little minions, and I remember getting the pamphlet from the person. I said, well, no, sorry, I don't agree with her stance on intimate partner violence. She doesn't believe it's bilateral. And the person just looked shocked that I actually knew something about the candidate and wasn't just taking the one line that they were giving. But most people don't, well, they don't care that much, or they don't dig into it that much. And it's really quite frustrating when you're sitting in the line and someone says, oh, you know, voting, it's just the rich are just going to get richer and the poor are just going to get poorer. And that's the thing there. So, you know, I'm not a fan of that. Mr. K is going, too many sheeple to actually make a difference. Perhaps, but think about it. How many people went to this Black Economy Task Force to actually participate in the community forums? And now that's evidence that they're using to change legislation. And there's a lot of very active people, I'd say, on the you know, on the more progressive or left side of politics that are quite active. They do it full-time job. And you just have to be loud and noisy. I'd probably worth doing a read-through of, what is it? Guide for Radicals. Saul Lewinsky's book. Yeah, that was my point. This lady only didn't believe it was bilateral. And you know, it's considering what I've read, I make the mistaken assumption that people realize, I assume people understand that there's evidence to justify the argument that's a bilateral. IPV is both parties are usually involved most of the time, and physical violence comes from both sides. But a lot of people aren't aware of that, or haven't really looked into it, because it's a very uncomfortable topic. And, you know, whenever I discuss it on YouTube, there's no very limited reach for it. Very limited reach. I don't think Ladder with Crowder needs a plug on my tiny channel. Come on. Peter Garrett voted for uranium mining. Well, there you go. That's it. Rules for radicals. Yes, thanks. Thanks, Biber. Bring back centrism. Well, that's the problem. The Overton window has shifted so far to the left. Now, a former Labour leader is in One Nation. Okay, that will just show you how far the Overton window has shifted in Australian politics. Right there. Former Labour leader is now in One Nation. What else do we need to... What else is needed to demonstrate that? But so many people just get the one line and they think one or two things. So yeah. Underland, check your silver stocks. Mate, I've got no idea. I haven't looked at any. I've not looked at any. You know, my investing at this moment is very simple. You know, physical and paying down debt, getting rid of mortgage. I'm sick of having it, and I'd rather just decimate that than throw at anything. So, you know, maybe a little bit later I'll have a look at some other stuff. But for the next 2 or 3 months, I'm going to be pretty flat out with regards to work, so I don't know if I'll have much time, to be honest. Dennis is going left is the new central. Yeah, it kind of is. It really kind of is, isn't it? Which is worrying. Which is really worrying. You know? And most people don't realize it. Most people don't realize it. Flying Wombat, buy jewelry like wearable wealth. Yeah, but where am I gonna watch it? Or where am I gonna wear it? You know? But yeah, I know you can do that too. My investment portfolio is my children. Well, I get a lot of joy from having kids, guys. You know, I don't know how everyone's I need to do a video on how much people think kids cost. I don't understand. I mean, I guess if you spoil the shit out of them, buy them all iPads and all, you know, pay for private schools, pay for daycare, all this crap you don't need to. It's just nuts, I guess. They're not costing us that much. I mean, they're still pretty young. We're finding how to do things really cheap. But the thing for us is we're spending a lot more time with our kids. That's the difference. That's how we're teaching them ourselves. We're saving money like that. I think it's worth it. We enjoy it. Fryzy's asking if Bernie can win. I don't know. I haven't been following the US elections as closely as I have. One commentator I like watching was Scott Adams. He's quite good with his daily periscopes. I haven't watched any of his this time around. Was it Peter Schiff? He seems to think Bernie can win. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be good for precious metals. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? You guys think Bernie could win? I don't know. Maybe. Worse, stranger things have happened. They said that Trump couldn't win. I don't think Bernie has the persuasion game as Trump has. You know? I don't think he has the same skills as Trump. I mean, he's a rusted-on politician that's achieved what? I think there's still... Trump will energize his base. You know, there'll be a whole lot of people that aren't happy. Maybe if a recession happens there, we could see. We'll have to see what happens, guys. So, Andrew had a Labour Party member at work tell me she's a centrist. I nearly choked as she talked about how bad the gender pay gap was. Oh, shit. See, to me that just seems like common sense. But I will be quite honest. I thought that an understanding of, you know, a merit-based achievement and hard work and I would thought smart people wouldn't align to the left. So I was shocked when I arrived at university and there were all these leftists. I thought, you're meant to be smart. You're meant to realize that there should be a merit-based society. So I was quite shocked when I was sitting in the architecture faculty lunchroom and they're all a bunch of lefties. My profession is like notoriously left, guys. Full of lefties out there. It's crazy. What technically it's a gender earnings gap, but I mean I like it when Rachel told me a story of how at her sewing guild, she's in a sewing guild, and they were discussing the gender pay gap, and one of the university lecturers was saying how she would intentionally give the women higher grades because you've got to help them out because they're always going to earn less for their whole life. And Rachel is probably the only conservative in that sewing guild. They're all a bunch of champagne sipping socialists. You know, all the women, some haven't even have kids. And Rachel's rocking up there with 3 children. And she was just sharing her story, going, that's bullshit. Because, Rachel was telling him that, I've hired men and women. Who do you think would stay back later to do the overtime? Who do you think would work longer? Who do you think would take on more responsibility when it was offered to them? That's why they earned more, because they got paid bonuses. I've employed them. It's rubbish. And I don't think they liked her for there very much after that. I've met some of them. They're the type of women that they sew bags out of recycled plastic to sell at like women's events to raise money for things. I mean, there you go. Turbine's asking for basic income instead of Centrelink pension. But you know what they'll do? They'll implement basic income, then keep all the other crap. They'll never get rid of it. But yeah, I agree. I can see the benefit of it, but they'll never get rid of it. Oh shit, Andrew works in state education. Oh boy. Cheers. Shit. You couldn't even talk at the lunchroom. I don't think I could handle that environment. I'd be too outspoken. I wouldn't, I don't think I could do it. But see, this is the thing. And who's that? MGTOW's saluting him. That's actually, there's a lot of male teachers in the distance ed school that we're in, because it's a private school. A lot of male teachers there. And boys need male role models. They need male teachers, particularly if they're fatherless. I remember the male teachers we had were far and few between, and it'd be terrifying now. Jason, have you looked at the articles about the woman who started a business and just hired all women in like a advertising agency? Look it up. It's on YouTube. A few people have talked about it, and it ends exactly how you'd imagine, exactly how you'd expect. What do you think about architecture as a means of influencing human behavior and perception? I think it's overrated. I think architects are very arrogant in thinking they can control situations or the impacts they can make. I think architecture is a reflection of the civilization that it's in. Sure that there's certain spaces you can create, and you can create a phenomenological experience in that space. You can create a space that's a piece of art, but that's civic monuments, that's rare buildings, and even that's also a reflection of that civilization. Most architecture, I think, is just showing you what is important to a society. And that's why in our civilization, the majority of our architecture that's built is clad in flammable cladding. When's the last time you got an emotional experience when you went into an apartment building? Lipskin's Holocaust Museum in Berlin. Now that was a phenomenal building. That's one I recommend you go to. Holy shit. 42 teachers and 3 men. Yeah, mate. Maybe pop me. Are you in Queensland? I'll send you. Look at the. If you're Christian, go to the Christian. Oh, I keep forgetting the name of our school. School of Faith School of Distance Education. If you want to. I mean, they're growing. They've grown a huge hit. Here you go. Look them up, mate. They need more teachers. They're growing. It's different. It's very different. We love it. We have the teachers visiting us once a term. It's great. Helps Rachel. Brett's asking if I think this will be the year we get a recession. Yeah, I think so. I think so. We'll have to see. I mean, the thing is they have to wait 2 quarters. That's what happens. It's just the numbers that they I think certain industries are already in recession. You know? Lee's asking if I've done any updates to the Freedom Map. No, I haven't, not for a while. I need to, but particularly tracking all of the gang-related violence in Melbourne was getting bloody depressing. Guys doing that all the time, it was getting to me. You know? It's just yeah. There's only so much you can look at all this stuff, and it's pretty sad. I need to find a way where users can contribute and put it on the Freedom Map. That's kind of the next thing I need to look at. But definitely I want to look at more free speech issues that are happening. But it's just been tough to keep up with it, guys. Particularly with the work that we've had last week. Oh, Andrew's in South Australia. Well, mate, that's even worse. I've heard some horror stories from South Australia. Let us know if the rumours that they are, you know, pushing through requirements to forcefully quarantine people are there. Vic's a good place, not what the data says, right? Really? I don't know, it looks like there's, well, certain suburbs a lot of crime, isn't it? I mean, I grew up in Victoria. They had AFL down there. I didn't know what rugby was when I came here. Prefer the weather in Queensland though. Weather's much better. It's a bit hotter up here. I mean, your solar industry's getting destroyed. Do I think the RBA will cut the cash rate tomorrow? I don't know. Be smart if he didn't or held off, but everything says they will. Well, I don't mind. I'll be interested to see if they do what gets passed on. I don't know if it'll make much difference. I mean, is anyone here going to spend more money if you got a mortgage and you're doing that? I think its effectiveness is really going to be reduced at such low levels. At such low levels. We'll have to see. Frisley's telling me the crime isn't that bad in Victoria. It could just be sensational. Well, it could just be sensational things. I think a lot of it is, particularly with some of the Sudanese youth. I've got the theory that it's intergenerational culture shock, where the parents have come over, and you know, Australia is fantastic because I mean a lot of them were refugees from a conflict zone. And the children who are having, you know, normal teenage issues, the parents are just can't relate to it. They're going, what's going on? Why are you having these problems? It's fantastic here. And I think that's causing a problem. I think that's a similar thing that happens to every cultural group that has that intergenerational issue. But it hasn't really been discussed much. And there seems to be quite high levels of youth suicide in that cohort as well. So that's kind of the theory that I'm thinking of. That makes sense to me, is why we're having that issue. And I think the media's just running with it because it's quite sensational here in Australia. And it gets clicks. That's how it happens. But I mean, you know, the biggest problem you have in Victoria is Andrews. Isn't it? You find a whole lot of civil servants. You got a hard Labor government there. Should be spending more money on drilling the gas and getting your power cheaper down there. Isn't Sudanese tribal as well? I mean, everyone's tribal, mate. Everyone in a footy team, you're tribal. You think it's the Housing Commission? Funny. I thought some of them were further out than that. You know? Well, yeah, it only takes a few bad apples to cause the problems. I know there were certain schools. Here's a funny thing. Because I grew up in Coldstream until about grade 2. And there was a little town near Coldstream called Lilydale. It's all out near Hillsville. And when I moved up to Queensland with my parents, I ended up getting a high school job at the Woolworths in Surfers Paradise here. And, you know, this was right in the tourist strip, so we get all the tourists there and I'd chat with them. It was a good job. This was back before we had automated service cashiers, because I was a service cashier operator. And I remember there's this one lady who came through, and she was from Lilydale. She was a school guidance counsellor. And I said, "Oh, do you know the Shields?" And she paused and looked at me and go, "Yes, I do." And she was shocked because they were all problem children. Our trip task is asking, "Yes, it is live now." Yes. And these were my childhood friends, like my best friend from grade 1 and before, and up to grade 4. And so she was shocked that I knew them. And Lilydale was kind of the rough public school you'd stay away from. So I wonder what would happen if we had to stay down there. Flying Wombat is asking if Rachel's on Twitch. No, Rachel's not on Twitch. She occasionally will do videos for this channel, but at the moment, I mean, she's pretty pregnant. Pretty pregnant, getting tired. She did a whole lot of shopping today, and she's got a house project to work on. So no, she doesn't have time for that. You think Mr. K is calling for the K-Rudd stimulus? Well, I'd rather that. I'd like Stephen Keen's debt jubilee before we do that. And rather that than QE. The problem is these central banks need to be constrained a little bit. Or we open it up entirely and have competition. Well, yeah, it's like that with any cultural group, Dennis. I actually did a video reading through the court ruling of Akon Marway, I think. You'll find it on my channel somewhere. And I read through the whole thing, because he was one of the young guys who went and smashed up the jewelry store, and the judge let him off on a good behavior bond. And it's interesting because the media was all over it. They were painting quite negative. And when you read through the judge's decision, it was quite fair and reasonable, because he put a lot of effort in to turn around. Where there was another guy, another person involved in that crime who did shit bugger all, and the judge just threw him in jail. And I hope he gets his shit together, because he was, I think, doing real well at sports, and then he injured himself. And that's the thing. If you fall down that path, one thing can lead to another, and once you get institutionalized, that's the danger. Then getting someone out of that, it's a nightmare. It's much worse. Flying Wombat doesn't like helicopter money. True. But what if they do QE, mate? What would you rather? What would you rather? Because that's coming. QE's coming. Do you think after all this blows over, manufacturing might return back to Australia after the government learns how dependent we are on China? No. No, I don't. I think people will just start outsourcing it from other countries. I think the problem is some of our costs are way too expensive here in Australia, so it's not competitive. Like, I need to show you the handles that we got made for our shop front that cost us over $1,000. It was crazy. You can't even buy the raw materials to make things here that you can get completed products brought over. So, yeah. It's too expensive. It has to change. That's why I'm arguing for special economic regions. Try an intervention, something where the government reduces the burden on businesses so they can get established. I think manufacturing, if it is to come back here, it'll be different, not like we traditionally know. It'll be small micro manufacturing niche products, much more advanced. But I mean, I've got my scanner there, guys, and for me to get that serviced, I need to send that over to Singapore. That's $5,000 just to do that. Nothing's done in this country. Nothing's done. You can't even get a chip or anything here. Everything's done overseas. There needs to be something drastically done to kind of encourage more business and more innovation here, but that's a slow process, a slow generational process, and too many people are used to flipping houses. Literally, it's easy. Why go through the burden of? Because now that you've got time stamping bloody things for work cover for business professionals, all this shit, just hiring people. Why go through that burden when you don't have to? Because it's painful. You haven't done payroll, guys. Oh, shit. I hated it. Rachel ended up taking it off me because I would get so angry. Whenever I do paperwork, like government paperwork, I get irate. When you're on the phone and you got to talk to some dipshit idiot about some government thing, oh, I get so angry. I get so, yeah. I'm not a nice person. I'm probably a lot better now. Emotionally, I'm a lot more stable. That I've changed my diet. So, yeah. Should we be looking at Indonesia for more manufacturing? Maybe. But how stable is Indonesia? Turbine Graphics is blaming it on the mining boom. You think? I don't know. I think the housing had more of an effect. I think we wasted the mining boom as a civilization. We don't have sovereign, well, what we have as the future fund is doing terrible. Lamimi Sosil. Last thing you want to do is hire someone is Australian or hire someone in Australia. I mean, it's a lot of... You can't have... Well, as an employer, you're taking a lot of what I would call paternal responsibility for your workers. Paying their taxes, paying their super, making sure they've got all these other things. You're really acting as a parent. It's ludicrous how many responsibilities are taken on by the boss, and more are being put on them all the time. And then there's a risk of getting sued. There's a risk of unfair dismissal. To fire someone, it's a pain in the ass. You've got to jump through one hoop after another. And we've had people that were so crap, and Rachel had to go through all this rigmarole. They didn't realize they were getting fired because they were shit. They wanted a reference. So yeah, it's really frustrating. A lot of people haven't been through it. Unemployment rises. Do you think they will reduce immigration? I don't know if they will, to be honest. Because technically, immigration has a ever so slightly positive impact on the economy from the economist's perspective. They're not counting some of the social costs, the cultural costs. And so I don't know. I don't know. Flying Wombat will make them pay taxes. Well, yeah, I agree. Get rid of pay as you go and make people pay taxes themselves. Then you'll shift the Overton window bloody fast. I reckon that'll be the fastest way to shift the Overton window. Get people paying their own taxes. Actually transferring the money to the tax department out of your bank account. You know, sending it out. Feel that pain. It's funny, I had people at uni that were like raving lefties, 5 years of running a business. Oh, they're becoming more conservative real quick, and it hardens you as a boss. Do you reckon electricity should be run by the state or stay private? We've got a kind of a funny mishmash right now between private businesses in a regulated market. So I've not looked at it in enough depth to give a full answer. I would prefer it to be private, as much as possible, because you know, just look at the NBN, guys. Look at how inefficient that is now. Internet providers were rolling out data. You could have the state intervene in certain, areas where the private sector wouldn't provide, very remote areas. But then again, that may not necessarily work either. Just look at the article in the paper today about Palm Island. The state government grocery business that won a bloody award, and they're charging $70 for a pork chops. So yeah, I would, I generally lean more towards private than the state. Something to get more competition in there, but that's going to be a hard thing because people are very tied to, dependent, government running it. But look at all the things that are run by the private sector, how much cheaper they've gotten over time. And here's the thing: I did the video about Jerry Harvey, and everyone's just hammering him. You all hate him. Well, a lot of people in the comments hate him for putting this 10% GST on stuff. But that's no different to a protective tariff. It's exactly the same thing as a tariff. All these people are saying, oh, I want a tariff on this or a tariff on that. We need to bring a tariff in to protect our manufacturing industry. And, that's fine, but that's a tax. It's no different to the GFC, the GST that Harvey got put on these eBay purchases. And he was protecting Australian retail jobs. So, you can't hate him both ways. High energy prices is an inhumane mechanism to grind the masses. I think high energy prices is the result of investment in a shitload of infrastructure that is not doing anything right now when we've got all these other plants producing power. See this one? This is a fossil output Kogan Creek power station. Let's have a look at what that one is. It's a coal one. Taronga. Trying to find out one there. I mean, here you go. Look at all this. 92 megawatts, 80 megawatts. How many of these things never produce anything? Okay, Roma gas turbine isn't kicking in, so we don't need peak load. That's why I think power is so expensive, guys. All of this is infrastructure that's been built that isn't being used right now. All the wind. Look at that. How many times do I look at this map and we're barely producing anything? That's my concern with it all. And there's more people calling for it like we've got now. You got Labour making promises for 50 years in the future or whatever, 2050. It's insane. I get the feeling they haven't learned anything. calling for nuclear. Fourth gen tech is... Well, North Korea is going to get it. I mean, the question is, how can you shift the Overton window enough where this will be seriously discussed? A lot of conservative people are discussing it. It's starting to be mentioned in politics, but the Greens... Labour depends on Greens' preferences too much. That's the real problem. They need Greens' preferences to win. How can you change that, guys? You're thinking house prices will go down? Funny? I can't make predictions, mate. It's you know, we'll have to see. I hope it does, but I think Sydney and Melbourne definitely will. But I mean, what if they just keep pumping more money into the system? More QE? So our purchasing power declines, our dollar declines, and property prices kind of hover the same? Or more money gets pulled out of the stock market into their houses? We'll have to see. What's wrong with Japan's nuclear plant? It was built right near a bloody, you know, for a tidal wave zone. We just put it where we don't have that problem. There's plenty of shit parts of the country that have got nothing in them, mate. I wouldn't worry about it. Seriously. Just look at, you know, parts in the middle that won't be a risk. And you see, have a look at Thunderfoot. He's got some really good videos looking at the actual radiation leaks and how it's been dispersed. And the problem is people make sensationalist headlines like radiation is 100,000 times more than background, and it's because background is it's so little that the 100,000 times is still completely insignificant. You know, people get more radiation from their phones and some things. I'm more worried about socialism than I am about nuclear power, to be honest, causing more deaths. Stupid people voting for stupid things. That's what worries me. Well, guys, I'm probably going to have to head now because it's 11:35 here in Queensland. I need to go to bed. Thank you all very much for joining me for this live stream. And as I said before, I'll be looking at doing these type of things probably more on the Twitch than the YouTube, or simultaneously. So please follow me there on the Twitch channel. I want to build up the numbers I have there on the channel. How do I share that with you all? And I'll share that again in the comments. It's just twitch.tv at HeiseSays. So I'm trying to grow that. So check that out, guys. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you for putting up with me screwing around with my text box. I really appreciated it. I think I've almost got it working now. I'm going to tweak it a bit. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. I mean, no real surprises today in the data we saw. You know, I'll do one tomorrow looking at the, you know, similar type of thing tomorrow night, looking at the house sales, building permits, current accounts, and the RBA decision. I mean, there you go. Consensus and forecast is that it'll stay. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So yeah, take care, guys. Sleep well. Enjoy your night coffee.